Ferrari is now fighting really hard against the other racing teams, and by fighting hard I mean they're taking employees, designers, and even copying certain upgrade parts to make sure Ferrari will be winning races again soon. These new people they hired and upgrades are mainly hurting Mercedes and Red Bull, who are losing workers to the Red Horse team. Could we see Ferrari trying to win the championship soon? Let's start with those new important people. Ferrari hired and changes happening at Ferrari. Ferrari hired Jerome D'Ambrosio, who used to be Toto Wolff's right-hand man at Mercedes, to be their second-in-command team leader and head of their Formula One driver training program. They also hired former Mercedes performance boss Loic Serra as their new head of car body engineering. Former F1 driver D'Ambrosio fills the empty spot created when Laurent Mekies left to become RB team boss before this season started. Mekies, as sporting director, had basically been Fred Vassar's helper at Ferrari. Both D'Ambrosio and Serra will start working at Ferrari on October 1st of this year. After finishing his racing career, D'Ambrosio worked as first second-in-command, team leader and later overall manager of the Venturi Formula E team. His job at Mercedes was to watch over the company's young driver program. However, his arrival in early 2023 was meant to give Wolff a trusted right-hand man after James Vowles left to run Williams. There was even talk that D'Ambrosio might be Wolff's long-term replacement. Instead, he leaves the team after just one season. Even though people believed he was joining Ferrari as their new driver training head, he takes on both that job and the second-in-command position alongside Vassar. Both of these hiring decisions just confirm what has been known in the racing world for some months, but this doesn't make the decisions less important. In Serra, Ferrari gets a highly respected person from Mercedes who is well thought of by Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari's star, signing for 2025. However, this doesn't mean that Hamilton's arrival had any impact on Serra. Ferrari was originally connected to the former Mercedes performance director about a year ago, so this has been planned for a long time. So if anything, Serra's upcoming departure pushed Hamilton to leave Mercedes. D'Ambrosio was brought in as a right-hand man replacement for Vowles, but he had no public jobs, so the world simply saw him as someone standing next to Wolff in the garage. Without a doubt, he had more to do, but his position was always unclear. It looks like Ferrari will have a more clear mission for him. Since Mekies moved to become RB team boss, there has been a gap in Vassar's help, and the Ferrari driver training program needs more attention than Jacques Clear, senior Ferrari engineer and Charles Leclerc's driver coach, can give. These are important positions for D'Ambrosio to take. If he can make a big contribution on the sporting side, and Serra has the technical effect that he has been credited with at Mercedes, these will be two powerful additions to Vassar's Ferrari. The two will also be reunited with Lewis Hamilton when the seven-time Formula One winner joins Ferrari in 2025. And it's a big but, Ferrari could also deal a major blow to Red Bull by finally signing the leaving Adrian Newey. It would be Ferrari's fourth attempt to sign the star designer, but he has always regretted working with Hamilton and at Ferrari, so it would make sense that the fourth approach is the one. The last time Ferrari tried it was in 2014 when Ferrari CEO Luca Di Montezemolo admired Red Bull and Newey's achievements and made Newey an amazing offer to join the organization. Luca wanted to give me the whole Ferrari operation, road and race car, Newey claimed. The promise was of an almost movie star lifestyle and the most ridiculously large financial offer, well over double the already generous salary I was receiving at Red Bull. However, Newey admitted, "I just didn't want to leave Red Bull." He stayed with them, and the team returned to championship-winning ways in 2021. After two more title doubles, they are once again leading both championships. However, Newey's achievement, along with the opportunity to manage their RB17 road car project, was clearly not enough to keep him on the team anymore. While Red Bull was eager to highlight Newey's wish to take a break after over 20 years with the company, the timing of his leaving is noteworthy. He will become a free agent at the start of the following season, allowing him the chance to design a vehicle under F1's new 2026 regulations. Naturally, Ferrari has not stated if it is attempting to obtain his services. However, many of the things that formerly separated these two enormous F1 brands no longer appear to apply. With team principal Frederick Vasseur acquiring the services of Mercedes employees like Sarah, D'Ambrosio, and even Lewis Hamilton, the most successful driver in Formula One history, as well as the support of a big new title sponsor, it's no surprise that many believe the stars have finally aligned for Ferrari and Newey. If you think that all these enormous changes would be all for Ferrari, you're wrong. Vasseur is not only thinking about long-term changes, he also wants to make a further impact on this season. This need for impact has resulted in Charles Leclerc working with a new Formula One race engineer from Imola onwards after Ferrari revealed that Riccardo Adami has been replaced. Adami has been Leclerc's race engineer since joining from Sauber in early 2019, having previously worked as a factory-based mechanic for Carlos Sainz's predecessor, Kimi Räikkönen, in 2018. This came after longtime Ferrari driver instructor and acclaimed racing engineer Jacques Clear worked to install Leclerc's engineering team for his debut season at the Scuderia, but last week, Ferrari confirmed that Adami would stand down as Leclerc's engineer beginning this week, and leading up to the Emilia-Romagna GP, Ricciardo is being transferred to concentrate on other important company programs. The move comes after a number of tense team communications between Leclerc and Adami in previous years, many of which stemmed from arguments about Ferrari's racing strategy selections, following a number of botched tactics decisions during the team's title contending season in 2022. What are your thoughts on all these personnel changes? Will this make Ferrari a better team? So whilst Ferrari is set for numerous personnel changes, there's also an upgrade battle going on for this season, and Ferrari is set to debut a big package this weekend in Imola. This was not just motivated by financial constraints. Ferrari understands that in order to compete with Red Bull, you must be willing to take risks. The technological strength demonstrated by the SF24 project is already evident. The team's triumph in Australia solidified their progress towards its 2024 challenger. However, the hardest part begins now. The development conflict will only worsen throughout the rest of 2024. Ferrari already unveiled and tested the big improvement package during a filming day at its Fiorano test track on Friday, centered around a change in philosophy for the side pod and engine cover bodywork. The rest of the SF24 will also undergo a transformation as the team looks for ways to apply pressure on Red Bull and stem the flow of the threat now opposed by a resurgent McLaren package. Ferrari, who switched to an underbite side pod intake at the start of the season, is now using an overbite design similar to the type we saw Red Bull use in 2024. While Red Bull has been able to reduce the size of their horizontal intake, Ferrari's approach is slightly more spacious. Meanwhile, the vertical bypass duct beside the chassis has been combined with the primary intake to create a single bigger inlet similar to the configuration found on this year's Alpine and Mercedes. As a result, the bypass ducts exit alongside. The rear leg of the halo is removed, and the layout of the winglet housed here has changed, with a cobra-shaped vane now presiding over the region. The outboard wing mirror stock has also been lengthened to improve airflow over the upper surface of the side pod bodywork, the general form of the side pod's bodywork has also been reprofiled, with a more generous undercut now present, allowing Ferrari's designers to rethink the shape of the side pod's flank and alter its waistline cut to better fit the floor. Besides, the sheer enormity of these outward alterations will probably necessitate the team repackaging the SF24's internals, with radiators, coolers, and other power unit ancillaries being relocated and/or completely reworked to fit their new home. As a result, the engine cover has been modified, with the louvered panel originally located on the shelf-like part of bodywork, replaced by a bigger single exit in the middle of the assembly and the rear section pinched in to allow heat to be rejected. Ferrari may have been able to drip feed some of these components onto the vehicle in China and Miami, but the team is aware of the risks associated with the sprint weekend structure and the limited testing available during those events. Choosing to provide this full upgrade package at Imola should mark a significant step forward for Ferrari. as it will have more time to examine and appreciate its impact. This should also help the team prepare for the next portion of the season. If there is a strong link between the real-world behavior of these new parts and what its simulation tools projected, what do you think? Is Ferrari setting up a super squad that will dominate the upcoming years, and could these upgrades make them even title challengers for this year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.